Wait for it. Engines rise. Is this going to be the start? We're racing at Karting Genk. Here we go. Now to the first corner. Good run from Lindblad. Round the outside. Kamara's holding it. Still holding it. Giving a decent line. Valtonen cuts through on the inside. And Valtonen into second place past Kamara. The rest of the field swarm their way through. Looks like we're going to have a reasonably good start through the first few corners. Everybody's kept it nice and clean. Valtonen there in second. We've got a spinner. One of the parallels has been spat out of the group at turn 4 and spins around backwards off the corner. So we've got an off at turn 4. I can't quite see who it is. It's the 152 that's gone around. Now that is the cart in the middle of the pack. It's Alfio Spina. So Alfio Spina has spun it away. We don't know whether there was contact to help him get there, but certainly Alfio Spina out of the race on the opening tour. And Lindblad and Valtonen have broken away early from Zhivnov in third.
Yeah, quite a disappointment end of the weekend. This first one with Parolin for young Alfio Spina, who didn't see that coming. Unfortunately, just happened outside of turn number 4. One lap completed and Lindblad leading the way as he just did for the entirety of the weekend. But watch out for Jo Valtonen. And there comes Kamara around the inside. Beautifully made from the Brazilian who lost a bit of positions into lap number 1. But he's back into third, getting ahead of Zhivnov into turn number 2. Beautifully made. And we have up to 0.3 of a second between Lindblad and Valtonen. Then we have Kamara, Zhivnov. 5th place for Eduardo Villa, who gained 4 positions in just 1 lap. Good job from the X-Prix driver. He's followed by Ariel Elkin, Martin Stenson, Luigi Coluccio, James Walton, Nicolas Solov. And where is our wild card, Bo Ayermans, unfortunately dropping all the way to 14 in the opening lap.
And that's the move from Eduardo Villa. He cuts through into 4th position. Eduardo Villa charging his way through into the top 5. I've been so impressed with him all weekend. And here he is now in P4. Eduardo Villa just 1 place away from a European Championship podium on his debut. This is an absolutely fabulous opportunity for Villa, and he and the expert team working magic out there on the circuit at Karting Genk. Where has he been hiding, you ask? Well, he's been part of the local, regional and national ranks in Italy and has not really done much on the international stage until last season. Here comes Valtonen on the inside of Lindblad, takes the lead in turn 5. So Juho Valtonen hits the front of a final for the first time since Alajama 2019 when he almost won the World Championship on home soil. Juho Valtonen is back.
And watch out, because another one might try to go around the inside of Lindblad. This is Rafael Kamara who sees the opportunity. Lindblad is in trouble right now. He's going to have to keep the Brazilian at bay. But for how long? Look how close they are, actually. Can we see Kamara doing the same as he did 2 weeks ago for the preparation race? He goes around the inside. And they're through. Beautifully made. Kamara up a 2nd place. As Lindblad is going to try. He has to fight back on the way to turn number 1. Can he actually do this? The young British driver on the Brazilian is not happening quite yet. He needs to stay within his shadow. Otherwise, that will mean that Kamara will be able to build on the pace and that Jo Valtonen will be able to pull away in the meantime.
Into the pits, we've got a retirement there, and that is Sebastian Gravlund. He joins Herolin Eredini and Alfio Spina on the sidelines, as we've got Valtonen leading Kamara and Lindblad. Eduardo Villa in 4th place, from Zhivnov in 5th, and then it's Stenshot, Elkin, Wharton climbing up to 8th place. Solov is next up from Coluccio and Yugachukwu ahead of Savrukin, and Turney is charging his way through. He's now 13th. So he has still got plenty of time to make an impression in this one. And we know what Joe Turney is like at charging his way through the field. He's 13th now. I doubt he's going to stay as low as that.
Yeah, impressive. 13 places in the course of 4 laps for Joe Turney. Unlucky into the qualifying heats. Was due to start from pole after a penalty. But now he's back with a mission in his mind. Try to get as close as possible to the top 10. Oh, what a battle happening in the last turn. Look at that, the side-by-side clipping the curb. This is one of the DPK Racing drivers further back. I think that was Nicolas Solov, wasn't it? In a bit of a trouble over there with a lot of rivals surrounding him. But in the meantime...
Here we go!
There he goes, Kamara around the inside in turn number 6. Yes, he made it stick beautifully. And watch out for Lindblad. This is now Valtonen under pressure, being taken into sandwich between the two. But Kamara is up into 1st position, leading the final for the first time.
Now, when we were racing here a fortnight ago, once Kamara got into the lead, nobody saw which way he went. So this could be the moment for Rafael Kamara to unlock the big speed. Here comes Lindblad for a go up the inside of Valtonen, and he gets through in the 2nd place. So Lindblad back to P2. Here comes Eduardo Villa. Villa wants a piece of it. He is completely the underdog in this battle, and it's great to see him him fighting up there, up at the sharp end of the dais. He could work with Valtonen here to get past Lindblad, but look, Kamara's disappearing. Kamara is just charging away. He did this a fortnight ago, and he's threatening to do it again. Villa gets past Valtonen. Eduardo Villa is now onto the European Championship podium. Valtonen comes back at him, slides. There's a little bit of a rub between them, and now Zhivnov has a chance to get back in on Villa, and that could have cost Valtonen the chance to close up on Lindblad.
Well, fantastic performance from Eduardo Villa, it must be said, not so long ago. Remember actually seeing him competing at national level here in Belgium, and here he makes his way into the European competition with such a pace and such a determination to do well. But watch out for the back as well, 134. This is Martin Stenson doing a beautiful job as well, getting past Nikola Tsolov and James Wharton battling with him. And watch out for Tsolov, he goes through as well. Zhivnov can do nothing about it. And Nikola Tsolov is in 6th place right now, and he's pulling away, at least trying to pull away as well with Martin Stenson, who just made his way past Zhivnov, sorry. So that's 2 positions lost for the Tonica driver, I'm afraid. So still a very, very agitated field. And there comes Tsolov on Martin Stenson in turn number 6. That was clean, nothing to say about it. And that's once again a fantastic job from the DPK Racing driver. He was coming to this race with full confidence coming to after his results in the qualifying heats. And he says to Martinus, let's not fight right now. Let's stick together. Let's work on the pace and decrease the gap on the rest of the field, because the leaders are pulling away quite slightly.
Great moves from Tsolov so far. There might be a slight issue there on the front fairing. It looks as though he's had a little bit of a bump and a nerf from another couple of karts. The front fairing looks like it's certainly been pushed in. Oh, a late bid from Eduardo Villa! Oh, what a launch! Absolutely amazing. From so far back, he cannons to the inside line. Thank you, buddy. You're hanging around. I'm going to take the place. Eduardo Villa storms in and grabs 3rd position on the back straight. He's now defending from Valtonen and Tsolov. Tsolov trying to come right round the outside of Valtonen. Doesn't quite have the traction on the way through, but certainly Tsolov is up for a scrap, and he's getting frustrated behind Villa and Valtonen. Villa moves on the inside to cover Valtonen, and Tsolov is right there to try and get his way into the top 4. But Tsolov looking very hungry in 5th position, and it looks like a big banzai from Zhivnov on the inside of Stenson behind them. He can't quite make it stick. And Wharton's trying to come through. Tsolov now on the inside of Valtonen gets there for P4.
An incredible pace indeed, and I had never seen that before actually, but the front fairing of Nikola Tsolov is really pushed back with a big bang on it. And watch out, there's 5 drivers in the same picture with Ariel Elkin being really pushed out of the way on the grass pretty much. The young Israeli is fighting against the 108 of Igor Guchuku that we had not seen yet quite in this race. Watch out into turn number 5. Igor Guchuku trying to make his way up. Zhivnov in trouble. The Tonica driver, as Ariel Elkin got a position up, is in 7, as you can see, change on your screen. Igor Guchuku is going to try to do the same, but he might take actually Joe Turney with him, already in the top 10, Joe Turney, and he's going to try to collect a few positions up in the field. There's plenty of possibilities into this very, very agitated and tight battle. And there comes Joe Turney around the inside, and he takes actually Matheus Morgato with him, up 2 positions, and that's disaster once again for Zhivnov, who had such a good pace in the early stages, but who cannot do anything about it, about the situation going on.
Sullivan Villa! Tsolov gets through to 3rd place on Eduardo Villa, so Nikola Tsolov has got himself onto the podium. You've got to go a long way back to see a Bulgarian on the FIA karting final podium. In fact, I'm not sure it's ever happened before. So Nikola Tsolov definitely in a strong position now as he runs 3rd in the FIA karting European final of the 1st round of the championship. Look at the squabble on the back straight. Andrea Kimi Antonelli trying to get his weight around there as he battles with Stenson, who's tumbled all the way down to 13th. And they're getting in there with Evan Schilter and Brando Badoa, Erasmus Yutsimis, Yannick de Brabander in there as well. De Brabander gets the slingshot move on the inside of Rasmus Yutsimis to move up into 17th position. It's a great battle wherever you look around the circuit. That's what we love about the FIA Karting European Championship. Wherever you look on track, there's always a battle. Here comes Antonelli up the inside of Stenson, and there's room for Schilter. Schilter trying to get through there as well, and he's making it. It's going to be an interesting one down to the 1st corner. They've just about managed to keep away from each other. But my goodness, it is an intense battle. And now we've got Valtonen trying to come back at Nikola Tsolov and Villa. But out in front, Kamara is just trying his best to extend the gap to Lindblad. It's up to 1.1. But every time Lindblad throws something at Kamara, Kamara has something in response.
Yeah, indeed. We're not halfway through this race, and we still haven't seen everything in this final. On your picture, Nicolas Solov running. Oh, and the 156 is in trouble. That's gonna mean retirement.
It's Koivisto. It's Emily Koivisto.
Quite unfortunate indeed for him. This is happening somewhere onto the track, turn number 5, I think. But yellow flag will be waved. In the meantime, Rafael Camara is increasing his gap quite just slightly, 1.2 seconds in front of Arvid Lindblad, then Solov, Eduardo Villa and Jo Valtanen. These are the drivers on your screen. Fantastic job, as we said, from the XP driver, doing all that he can to keep Jo Valtanen at bay. And in the meantime, while defending, he's losing a bit of momentum on Nicolas Solov. Actually, 7/10 of a second on the advantage of Solov, the young Bulgarian. He is on your picture. This is Eduardo Villa in turn number 6. That particular S, even a chicane kind of turn at the end of the motorway straight, where we have seen so many overtaking maneuvers throughout the course of the weekend. This is certainly one of the hottest spots on this Home of Champions track. But watch out for this battle, because we haven't seen anything yet. Solov, Villa and Valtanen pretty much glued together. For the back, we have James Wharton, a bit on his own actually. James Wharton, 8 places gained ever since the race started. There you can see him with his Paralympic colors, James Wharton, and then we have a bit of a tussle, and that's going to be interesting for sure, with Ariel Elkin harassing Joe Turney right now. Joe Turney making his way up to 7, considering he was so far the back on the grid, the 13th row on the grid, and already pulling the effort of the race. 18 positions gained for Joe Turney. What an incredible pace from the British driver. And watch out, because we have Igor Gochuku, who might try to go around the inside, where he is. Severiukin in front of him. This is Igor Kuchuku, knocking on the door of the top 10.
You can't help but wonder what Joe Turney might have been able to achieve this weekend had he not had his fastest lap time denied by him flicking the flip-flops on the outside of turn 6, because that could have been a much stronger weekend for him all in all. He could have been fighting for the podium here without any hesitations at all. Here's Badua versus Stenshorn, and in behind them you've got Yannick de Brabanda. A big slide from a couple of the drivers coming off turn 9. I wonder if it's starting to get a little bit greasy out there. Just wondering about the weather. So far, so good. As Badua continues on in front of Stenshorn. We've got 10 laps to go. And the last thing these drivers need when they're on hot, slick tyres is precipitation to change the dynamic of this race. Stenshorn coming up the inside of Brando Badua, sweeps by, and this is going to be fascinating. It's a 50-50 chance, according to our weather patterns, as to whether we might get rain in the course of the next 5 minutes. Hopefully we won't, but it's definitely going to be interesting for the drivers if they have to cope with it midway through the battle. Kamara now 1.6 seconds ahead of Arvid Lindblad, with Nicolas Solov in 3rd position ahead of Eduardo Villa and Juho Valtanen, and that's a slide up the inside from Yannick de Brabanda. He gets through on Brando Badua.
Lap number 15 about to be completed. Andrea Kimi Antonelli on your picture, the 101, the reigning European champion. Came close to battle for the World Championship last year, but despite a very terrific and quite sad incident, is back into pace, back as well into the mix, and fighting with Igor Chuku. These are the drivers in 11th and 12th place respectively. Not the best of outcome they had through the heats, and they have to recover quite a lot into this final. Just in front of him is Artem Severiukin, just being passed by Ariel Elkin just on the lap before. And watch out for Antonelli. He's going to line himself up around the inside of Igor Chuku. He made that slick beautifully into turn number 9. And that's a demonstration of pace from Antonelli. Now it's all down to Igor Gochuku to stick with him as long as humanly possible for the young American, and that could be a door open actually into this last sector, but it's not happening quite yet. Antonelli stays ahead. Let's have a look at the classification. After 15 laps completed, we have 1.6 seconds as the gap between Camara and Lindblad. Solov trying to follow through. Just half of a second between Lindblad and Solov. We could see a battle coming up for 2nd place. Lindblad, he might be in trouble coming up.
I was just going to say, I don't want to worry Arvid Lindblad fans, but the gap has come down to 0.4 of a second between those two. I wonder if the tyres are starting to go, or if the engine is starting to misfire, whatever it might be. But Arvid Lindblad is falling into the clutches of Nicolas Solov. There's your leader, Rafael Camara. He's opened the gap up to about 1.7 seconds. If we look back, Lindblad's in trouble. Here he is. He's got Nicolas Solov reeling him in, and this could be a magnificent fight between the two, because Lindblad will definitely not want to lose second. He's already lost the lead. He's going to be 4. He's got hand in the air, Arvid Lindblad lets him go. Now that's interesting. Is that tactical, or has he got a problem? I've never seen that before. If he's got a mechanical problem, unless he's got a mechanical issue. Arvid Lindblad holds his hand in the air and lets Nicolas Solov through in a second. And Solov is now gesturing. What's happening? Has Solov got an issue?
You know what? That might be tactical from Lindblad, you know, because let's not forget that you might not have seen that happening, so that's a big guess. But let's not forget that Nicolas Solov might have a problem with his front fairing, actually.
Well, how on earth would he know about it?
I'm not sure he knows about it, but if he does, that could be quite incredible, and that would mean that there might be a penalty in the air for Solov. That would mean that there's no need for them to fight, and Lindblad just let him through. That's a big guess indeed, or maybe mechanical trouble for Lindblad. But as you can see, the front fairing of Solov in second place is, I don't know if it's bended, but it looks, by the look of it, it's very much, with a bang in just the middle as a result of the contact.
Yeah,
so
it does look like he's had a couple of rounds with Frank Bruno, doesn't it? It looks a little bit... it does look like it's been some damage to Nicolas Solov's front fairing. Has Lindblad decided, you know what, I can't catch Kamara, I don't want to get into a battle with Solov, he's going to have a penalty, I'll just sit behind him and grab second place regardless and join Eduardo Villa on the podium. But that is bizarre from Arvid Lindblad. That's Alain Prost style tactics, looking at the situation for what it is and trying to measure and calculate exactly what the best move is for him. I've never seen that before.
yeah, that's quite unlikely actually that Arvid Lindblad is aware of the situation of Nicolas Solov, so it may be the result of a small technical problem, but he's still very much in this race as we're getting into a checkered flag. The question is, will he be able to see it through in third place? That could become second with the bended front fairing of Nicolas Solov. We shall see about that, but as a result, Nicolas Solov is in second place, still 1.4 seconds behind Rafael Camara, who's having no trouble at all. A lazy Sunday afternoon for Rafael Camara, my apologies. Really cruising along in first place in this final. On your picture, we have Igor Gochuku racing just in front of him. Igor Gochuku, with Artem Severyukin just in front of him. This is on the edge of the top 10. And watch out for Igor Gochuku. That's where he got overtaken by Andrea Antonelli, the turn number 9. Antonelli, who pulled away a little bit from Severyukin on his way to place number 9. Matthias Morgato in 8, James Wharton in 7. Then we have the top 6 with Joe Turney, Valtanen, Villa, Lindblad in 3rd, and the leaders, Solov and Kamara.
I think this is tactical from Lindblad because all of a sudden, Kamara's falling off the pace now as well. Solov is catching Kamara. Does Lindblad think, well, hang on a minute, if I just let Solov go after Kamara and bang 7 bells out of him, I might be able to get the win here? Because Solov, look, the gap is coming down big time between Kamara and Solov. It was nearly 2 seconds at one point. Solov has got that gap down to 1.3, 1.2 over the line last time by. Maybe Nicolas Solov has a little bit more pace in him, and he might just be able to do something about Rafael Kamara before the end of this race. Maybe Lindblad feels he can't, but Solov could, and that could bring him back into the battle later. They've only got 3 laps to go, and Kamara's definitely losing time to Solov. Solov is charging, and he genuinely thinks he might have a chance here to catch Kamara. They come across the line. The gap comes down again, 1.1.
That's interesting. That's very much interesting. Nicolas Solov driving for DPK Racing with that beautiful Fernando Alonso tribute livery, of course. 25 years almost since the double Formula 1 world champion won his world title in karting on this very home soil of karting Genk. So this is that could be certainly a good story to be written, but we shall wait because the track order might not be the final one, the official classification, so we won't take any big guess at this point, but the checkered flag is getting near. Rafael Kamara with 1 second ahead of Solov. Still the gap keeps on dropping. Andrea Antonelli getting ahead of Matthias Morgato for 8th place. Good job from the young Italian, who's actually there to pick up what's left of this final after the trouble he ran into the qualifying heats, and it actually all started in qualifying practice for Antonelli. Got disturbed like the drivers of his series in qualifying, couldn't get a proper lap in, and he had to start from further back on the grid of all of his heats. As a result, he's not up front where actually he belongs in terms of pace and determination. Kamara on your screen, the leader, 9/10 of a second, but the checkered flag is on the other side of the track pretty much. Will this be enough for Nicolas Solov? Can he actually give us one last fantastic run?
The gap is coming down again. 0.8 of a second now between Kamara and Solov as Arvid Lindblad just sits in the wings in third place waiting to see what unfolds. Surely Nicolas Solov isn't quite going to be able to catch Rafael Kamara in time to do anything spectacular. Having said that, he is gaining about 1/10 of a second a sector, and if there's one trip up from Rafael Kamara, Nicolas Solov could throw his pace at him into the final lap, and now Kamara realizes just how close he's getting. 0.6 of a second, the final lap begins. What can Nicolas Solov do about Kamara?
The final lap of the 23 round of this OK final. This is now or never for Nicolas Solov as Kamara is giving everything that he can all the way to the checkered flag. Will this be once again victory after the preparation race? The first run of the FIA Karting European Championship is getting near on the motorway straight. Turn number 6, where we have seen so many moves being achieved over there. Turn number 9, the hairpin of the track, and on to the last sector of the circuit. This will be the last turns, the last kick of the throttle for Kamara with Solov getting near
Kamara
him.
knows he's there. This is going to be very tight. Turn 10. Will Solov throw something in the final bend? He's too far back, surely. There's no way he's going to make that one happen. Kamara actually goes a little bit defensive in the final turn. It's to no avail. Rafael Kamara wins in Karting Genk. Nicolas Solov is dejected. He couldn't quite catch him in time. Just one more lap might have been enough. But Rafael Kamara is victorious for Brazil, for Kart Republic, and for his beautiful, beautiful reputation that he is building in 2021. Effortless drive from Rafael Kamara. He gets the win, and he is delighted with it in front of Solov and Lindblad.
Yeah, fantastic run all throughout the checkered flag, and what a victory for Rafael Kamara. Nicolas Solov crossing the line in second position, Arvid Lindblad in third. We shall wait, of course, for confirmation of the classification in just a few minutes, as Jake Jensen will be joining you for the podium ceremony in just a few moments. As for now, the classification appearing on your screen: Rafael Kamara, Nicolas Solov, one end of the race. That was just 0.4 of a second splitting the two. Arvid Lindblad third in front of Eduardo Villa, Jo Valtanen, Joe Turney, the recovery of the weekend. 19 races up the ranking into the top 6, followed by James Walton and Rakimi Antonelli doing what he could actually with 11 places gained in front of Matheus Mogato, Artem Sevryukin, Igor Guchukwu in 11. Then we have Ariel Elkin in 12, followed by Martin